Welcome to the SheSapiens Podcast. My name is Elizabeth and I will be your host. Our goal is to empower and inspire women in business by creating a supportive space through events and collaborations. As an international community network and marketplace for female founders, we are committed to provide resources and support to help women thrive in their business. We are based in Lisbon, but we started events in Amsterdam and soon other cities. In each episode, we will delve into the journeys of inspiring women and share valuable insights and tips for female entrepreneurs. We invite you to join us as we explore the stories of women who have succeeded in their endeavors and learn from their experiences. If you're interested in sharing your story, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. Additionally, SheSapiens offers a co-work space for our members in the center of Lisbon. Check out the description for more information. Hello, Michelle. Thank you for coming here. I'm very, very happy because I met you very recently, but I think I'm one of your biggest fans now. You have just a very strong and calming presence and energy, so I feel very good when I'm around you. So
thank you.
I'm glad to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored. I'm so happy to be here, and I really enjoyed meeting you too. So nice. Happy to spend some time.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about you and your very cool job. You're a spiritual stylist.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about what it is and then also about your very cool background in fashion?
Okay, where do I start? So spiritual styling is a service that I created in 2011 to help women feel beautiful. I created it as a response to what I saw was lacking in the fashion industry and lacking in so many of our lives, not just women, but men as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, beauty had become defined in a way that wasn't empowering to women. And I believe that the marketing of fashion and the marketing of beauty products turned it that way. And I became a fashion designer to celebrate women's beauty. And it all became, after that, it became about, well, babe, you're nothing unless you have this. It's like, no, that is not it. We make clothes to help a woman celebrate the moments in her life, right? Mm-hmm. Not to make her feel like, well, I don't look good enough unless I'm wearing this label or that label. I mean, really, no matter what, we will always be larger than the labels we wear. Mm-hmm. But the marketing to date has been about, actually, you only get one chance to make a first impression. Well, how limiting is that? And the first impression means you have to spend a whole lot of money on something so you can have a logo on your back. I mean, I just wanted to get out of that. So spiritual styling is about taking control of your beauty, deciding what you believe is beautiful. And first and foremost, beauty is our love expressed. So when we feel beautiful, we do good things in the world, mm-hmm. right? So how does that translate into dressing? Well, when we dress with what we love and we patronize the businesses that we respect and admire, then we're doing beautiful things in the world, right? We're saying no to women's abuse and women's slavery, children's slavery, sewing the little sequins that they do in H&M. Oops. We're saying yes to sustainability, and we're saying yes to I decide. Mm-hmm. So I think I ran away with a description there, but I think you get it.
No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned to me when we talked that you worked for fashion your whole life,
mm-hmm.
right? And at the beginning it was kind of difficult for you. You felt misunderstood because you wanted to create beautiful pieces of quality that would last, but the market was kind of like, we need more and more and more and more, as you said. Yeah.
So when I started in fashion in 1994, and I remember I was called in for an interview at Ralph Lauren, and they were super excited because, we're going to change fashion. Fashion is on a new path because all these MBAs from Harvard Business School are coming. We're going to make so much money. And I was just like, oh. Anyway, I turned down the job because they weren't talking about, we're going to make a better product. Women are going to feel even more beautiful. I already felt, but I didn't have the words for it then, that we're going to project something that isn't real, mm-hmm. right? So I was really lucky in that what I did sold well, but I was very unhappy because my success was interpreted as dollars and cents. And it wasn't like, oh my God, we made a beautiful product that helps women feel beautiful. It's like, oh, we're selling this. Now we can even make more money by not really making the perfect seam and using a cheaper fabric and blah, blah, blah. It's like,
yeah, it's crazy because I grew up with this tendency of thinking that I need to buy more and more and more.
Right.
And now I come to realize that my mom, for example, she gives to me a lot of her valuable pieces. And I think that's very powerful. And that's a kind gesture, right? She was like, okay, I worn it. It was beautiful. Now it's your time to be beautiful with it. And it only works because it's a good fabric and a good quality piece of clothing, right? So you lived a little bit all around the world. Do you think this mentality was specific to a place, or did you see it everywhere?
Well, yes, I've lived all over the world. I've lived across 3 continents, 8 cities in 3 continents. What I've come to witness is that we've, as a society, as a culture, have come to believe that, if we are successful, we consume more. And if we are successful, it doesn't matter how we consume, or we need to look a certain way. I think maybe it started, I don't want to point fingers, but it's not something that happens in a vacuum. It's happening everywhere. More is just the mantra.
Do you think now it's changing a little bit, or?
Yeah, I think your generation is changing it. And, we've seen that our planet is suffering, right? And we're listening now to the workers who are crying for help. There was a time when workers in China were putting messages in the hems of the garments, and when consumers brought it home, they saw these pleas for help. There are organizations right now, watchdog organizations, that are just really shedding a light on the inhumanity that we accept in the name of our beauty. And it makes people question more and more. And so what I hope is that I can help consumers play a part in making the world a better place as they help themselves express their beauty,
And there's something that I find very inspiring in your practice is that you say you help women shop in their own closet, meaning you help them find love within themselves. Because at the end of the day, I think if we think we need to buy more and more, it's because we think we are not enough.
Perfectly said. Yeah. So oftentimes when people come to me, in their closets, they're ashamed about a lot of things. Like they bought it, they don't know why they bought it because it wasn't in fashion. But something drew them to it and they're like, oh, I made a mistake. When in fact, those are the items that, that was their soul actually being able to come out and speak. So what I help women do is not change their closets or change the way they look, but show them how to see themselves with love and respect and realize that, those little times when you didn't follow fashion, you were actually speaking up for yourself.
Yeah, so you basically help women love themselves, because that's the beginning, right? If you love yourself, then you can love the others and do as you please.
Well, what I hope is that loving ourselves is simultaneously an act of loving others, and loving others simultaneously is an act of loving ourselves. I hope that we don't see a distinction between the two. And so what I hope to accomplish with my service is I give people a system in which self-love translates into love for the world. For instance, if we align our consumption with only our values, then we will shop only from specific places, right? And we will also value the things that we have, and the things that we buy will be things that we really thought about. So it's not something disposable, right? And if we start consuming that way, I hope that the more and more and more of us that do it, as consumers, we will then affect the people who create our goods, because we will no longer tolerate We will no longer tolerate abuse. We will no longer tolerate abuse of humans or our planet. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I hope not to make a distinction of love me and then I'll love you. It's just that loving me is no different than loving you.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Do you find there's differences in between your male and female clients?
Yeah, well, when a guy comes to me, he pretty much doesn't question. Mm-hmm. He just says, okay, go. Buy whatever you think is good for me. And then so like, I know that I only buy things that are in line with my values. And when he asks why, I'm like, well, doesn't it feel good to do good? He goes, yeah. And I go, and you look really nice. And he's like, okay, good. That's it. I think men, it's like if they come to the decision to hire me, they've already decided that I'm going to do what's right for them. Whereas with women, it's always like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? But I think that that's also how we were brought up. I mean, I think women feel as if they have to question themselves so much to make sure they really don't make a mistake. Mm-hmm. You know, because like we want so much to do good that we keep on questioning ourselves rather than just like feeling in our hearts that we're good and we're okay. Yeah.
We were talking about it the other day, like it's really hard to be a woman, but at the same time, it's kind of the best moment in life in the world to be a woman, because we witnessed this rise of the feminine. Yeah. And we talked about this topic that I love, about the masculine energy and the feminine energy that everybody has, male and female, right? And what I like is that you mentioned, because the feminine is rising, it allows the divine masculine also to rise.
Thank you. Yeah. So, you know, before we used to be, you know, the future is female. Sure. Awesome. Why not? But what I hope for is that let's not bash the other, right? And for the masculine to be toxic, it happens with, you know, it happens with the female also being toxic. Mm-hmm. Now women are feminine is rising. And I mean the divine femininity, like in your generation, it's collaboration, let's go. Whereas, you know, in my generation, it's like compete, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not bashing my generation because a lot of good things happen from mine as well. But I think it's just like a pendulum. You have to go to the extreme. You don't have to, but what I've witnessed is that, you know, we go to the extreme until we see that it no longer works, and then we start adjusting back to the other side. Mm-hmm. Toxic masculinity was on the rise, so toxic femininity was on the rise, and now the feminine is just like, oh no, it doesn't work. So, and being in divine femininity, it isn't about bashing the masculinity. It's about nurturing what is goodness, nurturing what is collaborative, nurturing what is kindness. And, you know, you can't, I'm going to borrow a little bit from Martin Luther King, and it's not going to be word for word, but it's just, you cannot stamp out hate with more hate. Mm-hmm. Very true. Right? Only love can do that. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what happens. I mean, we're seeing that like hate and indifference and not caring about people or our planet doesn't work. I mean, we're seeing the results of it now.
Hate will give you just a little bit of boosting energy, but then it will destroy you, as love will give you like a powerful energy that will
sustain.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
And we say that it's feminine and masculine energy, but I think the Chinese call it yin and yang. So it's kind of like a concept that has been around forever, and we just kind of also start to talk about it maybe with the rise of the feminine. I don't know.
Right.
For those who are not familiar with those concepts, would you mind explaining it a little bit?
What is explaining yin and yang?
What is the sacred? Does it mean to be in the sacred feminine and to be in the sacred masculine?
Okay, so like in the sacred feminine, it's all the lovely things you think about when you think about a wonderful mother, right? She creates a nurturing home where you feel cozy and safe and seen and appreciated and applauded and supported. And then the divine masculine is a place where he goes out, he makes sure that you're fed, right? And he makes sure that you're protected and that you have the security and the support and the stability to be nurtured and grow and, and express yourself. So the divinity always works hand in hand. But then again, it's like, I don't want to make things good or bad. It is what it is. It's like you have to be confronted with what you're not to really understand who you are and who you want to be, right? So nothing is really, really bad. And I don't think that people set out to be evil. I just think that, we're always finding our way.
Yeah, it's kind of like experimenting through life.
Right.
Go to the edges, see what feels right, and then come back to balance. Because at the end, it's what makes you go through, right?
I hope, yeah.
But what I like also about this feminine energy is that for me, it allows me to understand that I need to be able to receive. As before, I think I was too much in my toxic masculine side.
Right.
And I was always like, I need to do, overachieve, and I'm by myself. I don't receive help. As now I realize, okay, if I want to go further, I need to receive help, collaborate.
Right.
Was that something that you also struggle with?
Yeah. I was raised at a time where people were talking about women are equal as men. Yeah, but men and women are not the same. Our strengths are different for a reason, because when we work together, we are remarkable, right? But I think what was going on was, to be equal, we thought we had to be like men. And we pushed it too far. And there's nothing wrong with men, but we're not men. So, and also men have femininity in them, but with the way society was raising us, there were so many things that were anti-feminine traits, like the softness, the sweetness, which we all desire. We don't want to desire it in public, right? There was a lot of feminine bashing, and I don't want to swear on film or on tape or, whatever, but the expressions, right? Oh, you throw like a girl.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, today has been taken to our advantage as some brands use it as a positive thing.
Right.
Yeah. I think
well, thank goodness.
That was interviewed here. It's like trade, finance like a girl. Meaning like
right. Well, thank goodness. But before, if someone said, they were like, oh yeah, okay, no, then to be cool, I have to do it like a guy. And even though I'm a woman, I can do it like a guy. And she's like, wow, do it like you, not just as a woman. Like, how do you do it? Right? Yeah.
So what would you say is your biggest success in business?
In business? Yeah, being around. Being able to help people when my help is needed. Achieving sweetness and knowing that I'm valid. Yeah.
What do you think would be your biggest failure in business again?
I don't think of things as failures. I think of it as misconceptions. And so, when I was succeeding, I was so unhappy. So I guess if I had to choose something as failure, it is living a life that isn't true to me. And I did that for so very long when I was a fashion designer. Yeah.
What is the first thing you think about when you wake up?
Thank you. I'm just grateful. I wake up and I'm in a really comfortable bed. Oh my God, my pillow feels so amazing. Oh my God, I love this blanket. Oh my God, it's the perfect temperature in this room.
It's true that it changes everything when you wake up. If you think like, oh, I'm so lucky to be here, instead of like, oh no, I need to wake up. If you focus like on the positive things, your day goes like super easy and with a lot of energy.
Yeah, I'm so grateful I'm not waking up like in a crowded airplane and my neck is all. I'm just happy. Yeah. The first thing I do is like, I'm happy to wake up comfortable. You know, I'm not uncomfortable. And I'm so grateful for that, because not everybody in this world can say, I wake up comfortable. And it's huge. It's a huge thing for me.
If you could share like 5 business advices to people, what would it be?
Be yourself. Who cares about first impressions? Just always do your best. Be authentic. And believe in what you hope for and make it happen.
Nice.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone that wants to start this journey of entrepreneurship but doesn't dare to do it?
An entrepreneurship journey, or like spiritual styling?
Just wants to like be themselves, be authentic, create a business for themselves.
Okay.
But is too afraid to do it. She will be too afraid to do it. What would you recommend?
Seek your tribe, like SheSapiens and Female Founders. Absolutely, 100%. If you want it, you can find it and you can create it. It's just about, if you say, oh, I can't find, then you won't find. I mean, you don't exist in a vacuum. What you desire is there. So that's the first thing, for sure. And the second thing is just like keep walking towards your dreams. And the third is stop bloody judging. It's compassion. It's just like, look how far you've gotten already. You're exactly here today because of how amazing you are. You got over so many obstacles because of who you are. So stop being so hard on yourself.
Oh, thank you. That's beautiful. What do you do for leisure to take the stress and the pressure off?
I sit on my terrace and I just close my eyes.
Thank God you're in Lisbon for that then.
Yeah. Well, I also, I exercise a lot because I love it. And I gotta say, I just love my life, so I don't need to take a vacation from my life. You know, sometimes I'm working in closets and sometimes I'm not working in closets, meaning I'm doing something other than spiritual styling, but all of it to me is my life. It isn't like, you know, oh, here's my career and here's my private life. It's like, for me, all of it is just how do I experience sweetness and kindness in the world? And that is by, you know, being sweet and kind to myself and others. And yeah. Very
good. Yeah. I think life is full when you can like integrate that it's not, as you said, like private life and business, everything. It's just one thing. It's you, and you do like what needs to be done for you to be happy. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Do you have a favorite book?
A favorite book? So a really pivotal book for me was A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Yeah, I mean, I have so many books that I love, but those are the ones that set me on the path to where I am now. For practical guides, I love the 4 Agreements. And my practice is actually, I use it a lot when I'm working with clients, just showing them, I'm like, are you being being impeccable with your word? Are you taking things personally? Are you making assumptions? Are you doing your best? It's a nice, it just makes it easy to discern, I think, the 4 Agreements. I'm sure after we stop rolling, I will think of 20 more, but for now, those are good.
Yeah, always. Those are already great, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have a big project in mind where you want to go next? Or?
Well, I'm creating a podcast.
Woo! Maybe here.
Maybe here. And I am in the process of wrapping up the editing of my book, Conversations with Beauty.
Nice.
And yeah, my son is going off to university next year, so that's huge. So that's a big project. That's that.
Nice. Yeah, also I forgot to mention, you showed me the other day during the pandemic, you were going through like difficult times.
Yeah.
And what did you do? You create a beauty deck. Like, how do you manage to get so creative and to just like create joy and life out of something difficult?
Well, like we were saying earlier, when you're confronted with something that you're not, you can't confront hate with hate. right? So during the pandemic, I'm not going to go into exactly what, but I was really receiving a lot of personal attacks. And, I consider myself a really kind human being, but receiving these attacks without stop made me wonder, where have I not been kind and, all the things that I hope to be in the world. And I couldn't come up with a place, but at the same time, those attacks were being so loud, I had to not fight back, but remind myself all the things that I love about what I'm trying to create in the world, what I stand for, what I hope for. And in the beauty book, the beauty deck, it comes with a guidebook. And in the about the author, it says, I write not to bash or elevate my ego, but to listen to my own wisdom, which is often silenced. So, it's like, call to mind the highest part of me, because I was really facing a challenge at that time.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you, Michelle. Now you understand why I'm a big fan of Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Before we wrap up, I want to express my gratitude to everyone who made this podcast possible. First, a big thanks to Larissa Abreu for welcoming us into her podcast studio. She created this beautiful space so people could share their message. Larissa is also a digital specialist, the co-founder of a marketing agency, and she teaches how to make sales on social media. I also want to thank Saira for filming and editing our episodes. Your hard work and dedication to this project are greatly appreciated. And of course, I want to express my profound gratitude to my co-founders at SheSapiens and my co-founder at Marieli Digital. Collaboration and communication are at the core of everything I do. And I'm so grateful for your support and contributions to this project. When I started my own entrepreneurial journey, it was with the belief that I could always work with dream projects. And together, we've turned this dream into a reality. That brings me so much joy. Let's continue to empower and inspire one another. And of course, let's have fun doing it. Thank you all for being a part of this journey with me.